Alrighty, y'all. How you going? Welcome back to the channel. We're looking at the new 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser 70 Series. Now, of course, the 70 Series, this is, from my perspective, the foreign market one that will not make it here in the U.S. Although, a side note that we're going to look at the end of the video, in doing research for this, I found out that they are going to sell, like, a different Land Cruiser. I don't know how that works. We have, like, a weird, like, different Land Cruiser here. They haven't offered it in quite a few years, but we used to sell them here, and now they're offering another Land Cruiser for 2024 in the U.S. as well. But it's totally different than this 70 Series Land Cruiser, which is the ones that, if Americans know, it's the ones they want and won't be sold here. Anywho, yeah, that's what we're looking at. It's totally revamped, redesigned. It has a lot of new offerings. And that's what we're going to check out. This was told to me by multiple people to take a look at. I have Tika Burno here screenshotted in the comments recently, so I think it was yesterday, so I do appreciate that. And we're going to take a look. If you didn't know, I really loved the outgoing 70 Series Land Cruiser model. I know they sell it in multiple different countries, but I really looked at it mostly in like New Zealand and Australia. And it just is awesome. I love it for its simplicity, its retro design. I praised it because it's just reliable and it's kind of like all business. It's not fancy or goofy or dressed up. It just looks rugged and awesome. And that's really hard to find in a new truck, almost impossible to find in a new truck here in the U.S. They're all dressed up, pavement princesses. That's like the joke, right? They're just not built the same way or for the same purpose that they used to be. This is the first footage I've seen of it in video. Look at this. We'll just be looking at a couple of different clips here. Okay, that is definitely different. And remember, this is not going to be sold in the U.S. for any U.S. viewers. I've had a lot of U.S. viewers lately in videos. That's really cool. Welcome. But yeah, this is not going to be sold here. It's going to be sold in like Australia and New Zealand, I think. Parts of Africa, different countries in Asia. I think like Saudi Arabia and perhaps like Dubai gets this truck. Even countries in South America, but not North America. Well, maybe Mexico, actually. I know they get the Hilux at least. But yeah, this thing is cool. I mean, okay, let's break it down, right? I got to be honest. The front, the headlights... They're not doing it for me. So basically it's like, so they retain still a retro, rugged, simplistic look. It doesn't look all soft and modern and dressed up for the mall, right? I mean, it's still made to go places, to haul, to work, to go off-road. You can tell that's built into the DNA of this thing. So that's good. But, dare I say... Like, for example, the grill, I love the Toyota spelled out, and the grill there looks great. The bumper's pretty simple. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not great, it's not bad. It's just what it is. But the headlights is where I kind of have the issue. It kind of looks like, to me, this is just my opinion, but they don't look great, right? The old headlights on the outgoing model just looked like headlights. Maybe look like old headlights, like it looked outdated. It wasn't very sleek and modern and LED infused, but it looked fine, right? It looked good. It matched the look of the truck. This almost looks like someone took a, older truck or an older ute, I'm sorry, in this case, and they just slapped on like some cheap aftermarket headlights you get from like eBay or whatever, and they kind of look weird. They don't match like the flow of the car. They're almost too obvious that they're aftermarket, so they don't mesh real well. It's kind of the vibe I get from these. They don't look right. It's kind of hard to take a design that's so different, like it's so, in my opinion, retro, and, modernize it. It's kind of hard to do, right? But that's why I love it. I love that it's retro. The back looks fine. I mean, look, it's got simple taillights that you would find in an older truck that match the aesthetic, right? So the back looks fine, I think. But the front leaves a little bit to be desired. The side still looks rugged and retro as well. The interior looks like it's been updated slightly, but again, not crazy. Just a simple, functional interior. It even says Land Cruiser right there. I mean, yeah, this is old-fashioned, guys. And when I say this, some people might be offended. I don't think many people will. But if you are, I'm saying that as a compliment. Newer cars are annoying almost, like how, many features and tech is in there, and they try so hard to be luxurious and all these different things. I love how simplified this thing is. These are easily HVAC controls that you would find in a car from the 90s, and they're still here. So I think that's kind of fascinating to me, because you just can't find any cars like that are brand new in the U.S., but I appreciate the simplicity and the ruggedness of this. And it still has some modern conveniences, like USB ports and stuff over here. Yeah, right. Looking at this angle, I'm still not the biggest fan of it compared to the outgoing one, I guess. It's still better than anything we get here, and by that I mean like new, like brand new 2023, 2024 offerings, because like I said, trucks they're just different nowadays than they used to be. A lot of people still buy older trucks and SUVs in the U.S. because they have a charm to them. They had that more rugged, simplistic, heavy-duty, reliable nature to them. And the newer ones are way too jazzed up and dressed up, and it's like you don't want to get it dirty. It's like just a totally different vehicle. Whereas this is, has that. So in terms of brand new sales, like, yeah, I wish we had this. We don't have it because I'm pretty sure this would cut deep into a lot of the big trucks that we sell here. It would cut into their sales, right? So let's get real. I'm sure that's why that is not sold here. I think a lot of people, you got to realize, like a lot of Americans would jump on this. Like I think they would love it. But yeah, it is weird. Like it still has that old look back here, but the front, something's off about the front. I don't really like it, if I'm being honest, compared to the old one. Let's do a side by side. So yeah, if we look at the new one, like there's a look right there, right? Do we have it in truck trim? We do, or in ute trim, I'm sorry. There it is as a ute. Now it still looks retro, rugged, like I like, compared to any new 2024 US truck or ute you would find, right? Like none of them are going to look like this. So I do appreciate that, but something's off about the front end. I'm just not a fan of it, okay? Definitely not a fan of the chrome on this one either. And then if we look at the outgoing model, like look at that. That just looks, I don't know, it looks a little better. There's something better about like the way the bumper looks. The grille, right, is just a little more straightforward. And although I do like the grille in the new one. Let's take the grille out of it. One's not really better than the other. It works on the new one. But then the headlights are where it counts. Like the headlights, they just work better on the older one. I feel like I like the hood, because the newer one doesn't have a hood like that. Yeah, I don't know. I like the older one better, if I'm being honest. I still like the older one better. And by that older one, I mean like, last year's model or 2022 or whatever. So there is it, of course, in SUV trim. Yeah, that's just a better package, if you ask me. I like it. I still drool over this truck. I will say, I've said this in videos before. I have a whole video on like this, I do think they're a little overpriced. Then again, everything in the automotive industry is overpriced right now. It's absolutely ridiculous, especially when it comes to trucks here in the U.S. From what I hear, utes in Australia, they're just extremely overpriced. So I will say that. It is a cool vehicle, and I love how old school it is. I love how rugged it is. I've heard they have an amazing reputation. But yeah, they are just super pricey. Yeah, just looking at these, it's so cool. Seeing like those solid axles, like the DNA of this thing is just awesome. I love this. Holy smokes. I freaking love this. I'd be daily driving one of these in a heartbeat. 5-speed manual or 6-speed, I can't remember, but either way, manual transmission, V8 diesel, like how can you go wrong? That's one thing to note as well, is that these, I hear the new one, you're going to have to educate me on this because I've been hearing conflicting things. I heard that they're getting rid of the V8 diesel and that this is going to have a 4-cylinder diesel. So if you want to weigh in on that, it depends on the market, I read, and I can't really get a concise answer. So if you're, wherever you're watching from, let me know, and let me know what kind of drivetrain options we have. Do they still have the manual? Because every picture I'm seeing of the brand new 2024 is in an automatic, and that would be a shame if they got rid of the manual. That would take down the coolness factor of this truck considerably. So yeah, you have to let me know if the manual is still offered, and if you can still get that V8 diesel, or if that is gone and it's going to be just the 2.8 liter, I think, 4-cylinder it is. So that's kind of weird, right? Anywho, I feel like this is going to be an interesting video for comments. You got to let me know. There's the old one. There's the new one. Yeah, side by side, you got to remember, some designs end up growing on you after a while when new cars come out. People always freak out, right? I'm just not a fan of it. I like the 2023, the outgoing model, better. But that's just me. What do you guys think? This isn't like a totally comprehensive, straight up review of like every feature and everything we know about it. It's just kind of a quick look and like reaction to what this thing is like, So it's interesting. I'll take the old one if you ask me. And that's that. Either way, we won't be able to get any of them here in the U.S. So, it's all just a fantasy at this point anyway. I will say, just for those that are curious, I'm going to show the one that U.S. gets, and you guys can either think it's interesting or maybe you'll laugh because, it's not. I don't think it's nearly the same as the one that you guys would get in Australia, New Zealand, and so forth. All right, so if we look up 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser USA, this is what we're getting. Take a look at that. Now, I got to say, for USA standards, remember, our cars, like the whole point of this video is me saying, our car market's slightly different. And everyone's going to these soft designs, sleek, futuristic, lots of luxurious options and materials. And, no one wants some base model work vehicle, right? I do, but I'm not the casual buyer, I guess. Everyone wants all these dressed up vehicles, right? And this is, I got to say, for U.S. standards, this is quite different. It's a little bit risky, maybe a little bit edgy. I don't know what you would call it. It's definitely different. I guess if we're looking at it from a U.S. American perspective, I like that they're doing this. I kind of like it. I wouldn't buy this though. I wouldn't buy it. It's not like great looking. It's not quite ugly either. I can appreciate how it's somewhat simplistic and rugged and square for U.S. standards. It damn well is. But then I would always think of that 70 series one that you can get in Australia and elsewhere, and this doesn't really compare to it, if you ask me. This is different architecture, I believe, and it's going to be different drivetrains. It's probably not even solid axle. I really don't know if it is or not. But there's going to be a lot different in this. And for some reason, it shows it with round headlights in some pictures. Then it shows it with these. So I don't know if that's like an option, like different headlights, or what the story is. But this is the U.S. one. I thought I'd show it. I think it's pretty funny. Look at the wheels, for example. This one, even though I don't like this compared to the outgoing model, I still love this way more. This is just better, right? It's simple, it's old school, and even the wheels, right? It's meant to go off road. And this, what is this, right? The thin wheels, the weird, designer looking rims, I don't even think they look good, but you get my point. It doesn't look as rugged, right? It looks like, I don't know. There is the last year I believe they offered the Land Cruiser, which was 2021. So it's been a few years. And I actually got to say, even though, again, our 2021 and below Land Cruiser was different than, the other 70 series, it was still somewhat rugged. They do have a good reputation. They're very off-road capable, and they're very reliable. They have an amazing status here. And I got to say, I kind of like the older ones. I don't like this new one. So I would never buy this new U.S. one. I'm not a fan. I remember these being extremely expensive, like the 2021 and, those few years, like those Land Cruisers in the U.S., they were very expensive as well. And I don't like them nearly as much as I do, say, the Australian ones. But I got to say, they are pretty cool and for U.S. standards, and it was pretty rugged and capable. It's not my favorite looking vehicle ever, but it definitely looks better than that new one. So there's a look at it right there, yeah. But that's about it for this one, guys. Like I said, I can't wait to see you down in the comments. What are your thoughts on the new Land Cruiser? What do you think of the USA one, just for curiosity? Do you think it's kind of cool, it's different, or do you absolutely hate it? You know, what are some of the differences, you know, that you like or dislike? Gotta let me know. Of course, what do you like better, the 2024 70 series or the outgoing model that won't be there anymore? Gotta let me know. Thank you for the suggestions. As always, make sure to keep them up. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please throw a like on there if you did. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. And that's about it for this one, y'all. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and until next time, I'll catch you later.